1.
Is it on? Welcome to the old elderly podcast of the weekly DLC. Is it?
When the cat sees the camera, the cat's face. The cat sees the camera. It's like the face.
The first time I didn't even pay attention, I was just like, I did it on purpose.
If you're not familiar with what we do, we come to you every week around this table usually to podcasting services of your choice on Mondays. And we sit around a table. We have some fun discussions, usually nerdy in nature, comics, games, movies, books. As you can see, we have quite a bit in front of us today and sort of everything in between. So with that, we're starting off episode 105 with my co-hosts. I haven't introduced yet, Daniel Jang.
Chunga.
And Daniel Vargas.
Hello. A little backwards today.
Yeah, don't get disoriented. Don't tune your TV sets. We're just swapping the seats a little bit, changing it up. We have a new seat organization passed down by management.
Some feng shui.
Yeah, the new vibe.
Chungus.
So
We have no pens here.
and so yeah, with that, Jang, do you want to go into your topic?
All right, so the Pet Cemetery trailer dropped yesterday or today? Today.
Yeah, it was.
And
today being the day we're recording.
They changed a major plot point in the trailer. It was revealed. Yeah, you know what? I kind of wish that they didn't mention who gets killed because it would have been a shock. So the kid gets killed, the boy gets killed instead of the sister. And so in the trailer, the sister gets killed and she's the one that gets brought back to life. And man, Stephen King fans are pissed.
Has he voiced his opinion at all?
He just said, he tweeted, this is going to be a scary movie. He reacted to the trailer.
Oh, he didn't comment on the feedback.
No. He just said, this is going to be a scary movie. Okay. So my topic is, what adaptations or what things in adaptations kind of like made you kind of mad when you were different from the source material, and then vice versa. I think it's harder to come up with vice versa, but
where
the bad
good?
stuff, where it's good, but bad stuff from adaptations.
Do you have any
examples?
Do you want to go first?
I think this topic for me is a little difficult just because I haven't really read a lot of the books that have turned into movies.
No, you've read one.
I've got one, yeah.
There's more than just books. And you could
okay.
Fine. I'll go first. I think that'll get the gears turning.
You could do video games.
I can do Ready Player One is one that I've done. So I think with that I would have to give it to the book. Like, it's a better adaptation in that, like, or at least the book did a better job, just because there is an issue with copyright. There isn't an issue with, like, putting whatever you want in that book.
But what change was it in the movie that bothered you?
Well, the fact that they weren't able to just implement everyone that was available in the book, you know? But again, like, that's where the copyright thing comes into play. I'm already just defending it, even though I haven't.
No, I was just trying to narrow in on what it was between the translation of book to movie that was. Yeah,
like there's certain scenes that happened as well because of certain characters, and that just couldn't be the same because those characters weren't able to be in. So,
you guys tell me, do you want a good one or a bad one? I got a few of each.
Start with bad.
I just want to add, I'm going to flip it. The good part in the movie, then the book. Yeah, same movie.
Ooh.
The first two challenges, way better in the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the War Games is cool, but it's not very like, oh, this is really cool. Like The Shining. You have to survive The Shining.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And the race.
But to defend the book, though, is we're talking about a guy who was like super geeky, super nerdy into his things. Like, he wanted to make sure people of his caliber were the ones that were going to win this. So he didn't want just like someone with physical abilities or something like that, like to just win through everything. So this was like a very challenging, and it might not seem exciting, but I found it exciting because of the way it was. It wasn't something that was just you can use athleticism to win, essentially. That's the book version. The movie did not do that.
The first challenge wasn't really like knowledge based, but the second one was knowledge based.
Yeah.
To get to The Shining, I mean, it was physical to survive it, but to get to that point was knowledge based. But the first one was just a race.
In terms of the adaptation, I like the movie's race. Like, that was fun. But I think because of the pacing of the movie kind of limited how much time you got to spend with each one of these, or the build up to each one of these. And so that kind of hindered my enjoyment of each one of these things. Whereas in the book, like, it felt like, all right, we found one, and then a lot of time passes. And then there's the second one. And this one was just like boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I can see points to both.
Go with the bad.
You want me to go with bad? All right. I Am Legend.
Ooh.
The book is
So I started with the comic book, which is also an adaptation of the book, as I understand it.
Yeah.
But in the comic and in the book, the thing is this: if you're not familiar with the I Am Legend, it was the movie Will Smith. Future, there was the whole 15 minutes of The Dark Knight was before. That's how I remember it. That's the only reason I went to see it in theaters. But in the movie, he's in this future where it's like apocalyptic, like everything's gone and everything, and he and his dog are still around, and then there's these like zombie vampire-like things, and he's surviving and facing off against them. In the comic and in the book, the way it's shown is by the end of the film, there's a twist. And I think we're going to go into spoilers on a lot of this stuff with all the content, but they're old, so I feel like it's fair.
Yeah.
It's revealed in the book and the comic that everyone, all those zombies and vampire, whatever they are a new society now.
They're like the new natural inhabitants of.
They're not just
world.
like mindless creatures, and like he's the survivor, and so the perspective is switched, and you see that he's considered the monster. Mm-hmm. And that reveal is like, whoa, this is like the storytelling was engaging and stuff. And the movie does not do that. Now, I will say one small thing. I remember seeing a deleted scene of an alternate ending that they filmed. And I think it was the original ending that they didn't use. And it was more true to the book. And it was where he's captured one of them, and this wave comes in. This one specific one keeps attacking in the film to Will Smith. And he's like, what the fuck? Why is this one so angry at me? And you see there's like fog because of the heavy breathing. He's like protected himself in like a room like this. And there's a glass wall or something, plexiglass. And you see him, the zombie does like a butterfly. And then he like, what the fuck does that mean? And then he takes a look, he glances at the captive one that he has, and there's a tattoo of a butterfly. And he realizes you took his wife or his partner or whoever, and then he's like, I'm sorry, I'm the monster. And I was like, man, why the fuck did they not go with that ending?
I think the ending with the movie is he just like commits suicide. He like has a bomb grenade.
He saves the girl.
There's a little girl he saves.
Yeah.
And then
he commits suicide.
He blows up the whole thing, and then the girl's like listening to this radio call to go.
You're so angry. Actually, so I've never read the book, but I've heard that in the book there is this twist where he realizes like, you know, humans in society are kind of like no longer the main one. It's these zombies or these.
Yeah, I feel like it loses all its point there.
Yeah, exactly.
In that,
and in the ending, they just like it's more like I wouldn't even say it's a Hollywood ending. It's more of just like we couldn't fill out the movie the way we wanted to.
Just write it out.
Exactly.
That's a bone.
I just want to add, there's a really cool scene in I Am Legend, a movie, and it's very small. It's not an action scene. It's him acting with the mannequins.
Him and Phil.
That scene is so fucking good. And he's trying to ask the girl out. Dude, it's so good. Like his acting.
That scene was good, and the same with the scene with his dog.
Oh yeah.
That was very emotional.
There's a scene where like something moves and he thinks it's a mannequin.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, if it's you, tell me. Tell me. Because he wants someone to be real. So he's like, if you move, I won't hurt you. Tell me it's you.
So that was one of my bad ones.
Mine, it's not fair because I never finished the source material.
I think I know what it is.
Scott Pilgrim.
Oh,
versus the World.
You never finished?
No. You know what? I thought the movie was so much better. I got halfway through Scott Pilgrim and I was like, you know what? The movie is... I saw the movie first before reading.
Really?
So I was like, you know what? The movie is so much better.
I think that is one where I read before I watched. And I have to agree with you. I think the movie did a really good job. I wouldn't... Again, like, they're their own things. But the movie on its own is fantastic. Like, they did such a good pacing... Everything's so well, while the book extended what the movie is in 7 volumes, I think it is. So it's quite a bit of reading material.
But my question is this: if going to your question of the changes, what did they make any specific change that altered?
the way they defeated the rocker guys, the rocker girl, that dude, the vegan dude.
Yeah.
Fuck vegan. I was like, dude, the way he killed him in the comic book, I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Like,
Okay.
but then the movie was kind of weird because then the vegan police came and it was kind of
Thomas Jane.
I'm gonna flip it though. There's a really cool scene in the comic book that's not in the movie. Is they're like on the swings and he has an X-Men patch, and then she's like, "What the hell's that?" And he's like, "Well, obviously one of us didn't go to the Charles Xavier School of Gifted Young Children," and she's like, "Well, obviously one of us is a nerd." And I thought that scene was,
And that's in the book,
dope.
right? Or
It's in the book. Yeah.
So actually, now that we talk about this, Watchmen is another one.
Oh,
That's on my list.
That was mine.
For
That's
which
like
way?
the only one. I would have to
I
say
have both.
the book, and obviously, or
No,
the
I'm
comic
saying,
book.
was the adaptation worse or better?
I would say the adaptation was worse, and that's exclusively because of the ending.
Which part of it?
So that with the ending within the film, I recall it's just an explosion.
Oh, instead of the monster thing?
Yeah, instead of the monster thing.
And that was the...
I think with the monster thing, it's an idea that's so weird to me that like I felt like it worked. You know, like it's just this giant monster that's damaging everything. It's a constant fear, and like the monster's not going to go away. Like there has to be unity to fight this thing and win, as opposed to just an explosion where like everything explodes and then there's unity, obviously, like to get everything repaired. But once that's over, it seems like everything could go back to normal. Where like a monster, the lingering effects of what had happened with that is something that'll stay there for quite a while for these people. It'll take them a long time to figure out how to defeat this thing.
I mean, you could say the same thing about an explosion, the lingering effects of...
Yeah. I feel like a monster would have a longer effect in like what this message that what's his face?
Ozymandias?
Yeah, Ozymandias was trying to convey.
Okay.
I want to flip it though, like the fight scene in the beginning where fucking
comedian?
Ozymandias,
In the hotel?
murders him, and also the fight scene with the owl and Rorschach was way better in the movie. Like the way I envisioned it, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
For me, I thought you were going to go in another spot that I didn't like in the way the movie presented it was when Ozymandias reveals that he did what he did. Like, I thought the movie, the way he shared it and the reaction he got from the people was like flat. Like, I was like, there's no surprise. There was no... And it might just be because I knew the source material that it wasn't as shocking, but like there was something about that moment in the book that just captured you, and I didn't feel like it was delivered well, or the timing of which it was shared. I was like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
Should I go better or worse?
I think better now.
Better.
Better now.
I'm gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
And I'll say one particular like instead of just the whole movie or the whole cast, I'm gonna point out one specific thing, and that's how they handled Drax.
Yes.
The way Drax is in the comics leading up to this,
Yes.
like my experience was Annihilation, which was this big epic crossover sci-fi space thing in Marvel, where it was like Silver Surfer, Galactus, Thanos, Annihilus, and a bunch of other people. Every space-related Marvel character in this cool story. And in that, my experience of a characterization of Drax is this Terminator. He's just like, I'm here on put on this universe for one mission. It's to kill Thanos. That's all been my purpose in life. He's sort of like a Conan the Barbarian vibe. Very few words, no humor whatsoever. Just gets to the point. And that's it. The way they move the movie, I mean, it speaks for itself. He's just like the best comedic.
I learned that he has sensitive nipples, and he can eat so slowly that he goes invisible.
Invisibility. Yeah, the way they did that was just amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like in that, like if you
And it did so much. Like to me, like it went from being like a character that I was like, okay, he's kind of cool to, I love this character, and he's still kicking ass and stuff, but the humor is just so good.
Just to add to yours, Groot. I felt like Groot was one-dimensional before the movie. And
I mean, as a whole, I didn't really care about Guardians. I gotta say, like,
but Rocket's always got that sass.
The sass, yeah.
So
he's like the Deadpool in space, just smart mouth. You have
Mine,
any more?
Video game to movie.
Okay.
And then that's why I don't have faith in Monster Hunter the movie, because the guy who's directing it is directed these horrible movies. I can't believe. Okay, I saw the first one. And I was like, damn, this is bad. And I saw the second one. Never went back. After the second one, I'm done with the Resident Evil series.
What specific changed from the source material?
It's a lot.
A lot. I mean, some of it is.
Well, I mean, like the topic is like, what are the drastic changes that they made, right?
Dude, I don't. You know what? To be honest, I don't even remember the movie, dude. Like that's how bad it was. I just this is what I remember, dude. A scene with this dude, and he gets gold guns, and he goes, "Oh damn!" Like
I love that guy.
I mean, that's the only memorable. That's the only thing I can fucking remember about that movie.
The thing that I remember from
the
all
lasers.
these, and I don't know if this is in any of the source material of like Resident Evil games. Does anyone have like? Are they a powered up like clone character?
Wesker is powered up, but I don't
not
know.
aside from him, like a protagonist girl. Because I feel like Mila Jovovich's character is this some like souped up superhero person.
They're just normal.
So that's never in the games, to your knowledge.
Normal.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge deviation because, like, when you get to like 5, 6, and 7 of these Resident Evil movies, it's just bonkers. Like, she's just doing all sorts of crazy shit. There's 30 of her. Like, she's just like, I'm a sci-fi trope. Yeah.
I mean, even like the very first movie, like indicated like she is very well athletic in the movie, as opposed to the game where
there was something more about her. There was like mystery to be had.
Yeah. And in the game, like you never even jump. Like you're just, you're always.
I will say,
around.
Chris Redfield in Resident Evil 5 punches a boulder with one fist. It was the best moment of that.
I haven't seen any of those. I've seen like 1 and 3 maybe.
Okay. Did you have any more?
I don't have any more.
Better or worse?
Well,
We'll just go with the bad.
Worse.
I don't know. I just
Let's do the bad.
I'm gonna say Deadpool.
Really?
It's better.
It's worse.
Worse?
In
He's saying it's
Wolverine
worse.
Origins.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Do you guys remember Wolverine Origins?
Yes. He doesn't even talk.
Exactly. It's like
He has no mouth. That's his weapon.
Merc
That's
with
his
a mouth.
number. That's his number one
Oh,
weapon.
that's the very first time it showed him in a film.
Where they
right?
turned him into like Baraka.
He has it's the same actor.
Yeah.
But he has it sewed
They
shut.
sewed his mouth shut because they're like, he won't shut his mouth. We'll sew his mouth shut.
The thing is, when I saw that film,
and his blades are in. It's like Baraka. They're in his arm.
that scene wasn't significant to me because I didn't know Deadpool as well, so I didn't know
Really?
he had that ridiculous charismatic thing that he has in the comic
Yeah.
books. I mean, I knew he broke fourth walls and stuff like that. I didn't know the character.
weren't familiar with him, yeah.
I thought like even though they said he's like Weapon X or whatever, I didn't convey who it was, and so it was nothing to me for that scene.
That was like. Do you have any more?
I'm going to go with worse and a whole bunch of Stephen King adapted stuff.
Dark Tower, baby.
Fuck, dude. Just in general, dude.
Oh,
The
really?
Stand, the original It. I mean, the new one I haven't seen. I know
I thought you have.
it did. No. I have the Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it. But
So you don't like the original It?
no, it's bad, dude. It's bad, dude. No, so the reason why I haven't watched the new It is because I'm trying to watch the original one and I can't fucking finish it.
And we know how long it took you to watch Stranger Things too. So
yes.
who knows when you watch it?
I know that I recall from watching the original It that I liked it, but I did feel like it was one of those like it felt longer than it needed to be type of film.
It was a
like
miniseries.
Yeah, it was a miniseries.
It wasn't a film.
I saw it as a film type, so they might have like linked it together. Then was was there like a?
It's probably like a volume. Like
I think it was
you
like a
just
2-part miniseries, like 3 hours each or something. Ugh.
Yeah,
It's bad.
So that's all I recall is like it being really long.
But yeah, I don't know why. How come his fucking source material is good and they just fuck it up?
It's just who they hand it to.
Pet Cemetery.
What about? I'm gonna bring one up, but like
Go
this
for it.
isn't. But Game of Thrones.
There's a lot of changes.
I would have to say.
I'm gonna assume the book's better easily.
I would have to say I think the at least for me the show, I haven't obviously even looked at these books, but the show it's captivated so many like an audience already, and I feel like because it does a good job of like not having like very like boring moments and stuff like that, And from what I've heard from people talking is there are a lot of that. Like there's a lot of information.
There's a lot of minutia.
Yeah, to like tell you like this person's this person, this person's this person. But you get it's so much. Like you just get lost in these characters.
The reason why I'm going to say the book is better, I read a part in it. I was reading through the first book, and it was when without spoiling it, the Golden Crown. My God, the way he fucking wrote that scene, like the dude's feet was like drumming, like while the crown was being poured. I was like, holy fuck, that is not showcased in the show. You don't see his feet going.
I think moments that are empowered in the show are, again, the power, like things that we get with a film or movie or show or any sort of like visual adaptation is the visuals and the audio. So anytime Reigns of Castamere played, like the Red Wedding or the Golden Wedding, no, the Purple Wedding, that's what it was, or Battle of the Bastards, or these visually like engrossing moments where you're like, this is the scale. Like it's great when you're reading it and you're left to your imagination, but getting like a visual satisfying moment with like John like drowning in bodies, like that was fucking like. You felt it. Like, it was crazy. And like I thought that was really talented filmmaking and cinematography. And again, the music, like it just the music didn't exist until the show started. So like the dun dun dun, dun, that's so iconic now.
Yeah.
When you were saying video game adaptations, I was thinking of Mortal Kombat. I was like, that music is just so like ingrained in my memory. We've talked about it before, but
and that came with the movie. That didn't come with the games.
As far as I understand, I think there was some debate as to like it might have come out right before with the game. I don't know. I had one more in the worse, and it's Civil War.
The comic book?
The movie, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Didn't do a service to the comic because I really felt. I understand that there's an MCU and there's a narrative to be told and the way they need to like keep everything tightly knit, and it's props to them for keeping that. But I feel like it's at a detriment to a story that was like standalone, like Civil War. And the part I'm talking about specifically is the cause of Civil War. I really felt like it was a jarring moment, and it hit hard and hit like anyone could like take this moment and it would divide. Like there was genuine comic book, like people were like in shops being like, no, like Cap is right or Tony's right because this is how it should be done. It's like how people debate like politics. Like this is how we should go about solving these problems. And the way they were handling the moment I'm talking about in the comics is there's a group of kids, like a Teen Titans group, not trained, nothing. And they're facing off against a guy that can make himself explode. And the fight ends up spewing into nearby an elementary school. It's one of the largest in the district. And he does his explosion and all the kids go. And it was like 9/11 level shit. Yeah. Like, and like the impact it had, like parents were involved, families were involved. And so the authority was like, we got to do something, like training is required. But then there was facets to it that they really broke into that they don't cover in the movie, where it's like, you have to have your identity saved with the
it's like Watchmen.
Yeah, it was very much like Watchmen and Incredibles, where it's like you got to work with the government. You're owned by the government. You're a government official. You're not outside the law. And what comes and doesn't come. There was an actual discussion between characters, and then when things erupt and get emotional, that's when things hit the shit. The shit hits the fan. And I thought the movie didn't get that. It was going for the larger narrative.
Yeah.
At the sacrifice. I'll quickly say the two better ones, just to finish it out. The Mask.
And then what side?
Ooh. I thought that each of these I'm saying the adaptation did it better.
Okay.
The Mask is really different from the comic.
It is very different. I think what I'm saying is that I think his performance, like Jim Carrey, they really catered to that, and it like made this really iconic thing.
Yeah.
The second one being Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. I thought Blade Runner became such a like iconic film and like delved into these cyberpunk the things that like Japan has been doing for a while with like Ghost in a Shell and all these other films and animes that they've had. I thought this was like a good like Western version of those, and I was like, man, that in the book covers it, but it had a different story altogether. I thought that the movie really was cool.
Nice.
Street Fighter, the movie.
Wait, the Machinima one?
No,
that was good.
Yeah.
That was
one's
actually
good.
very
Even
good.
the Mortal Kombat Machinima one's good too.
Oh, with Michael J. White.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It didn't have Shang Tsung though.
Yeah.
Oh no, it did. That's the one guy they had from it that they did. You're right. All right, next topic.
So it's gonna be mine, and so this one on Reddit, I found a guy said he found a patent from Sony for being able to get or for a machine that can be backwards compatible to where it can play PS2, PS3, and PS4 games on a system. And I'm assuming, like everyone's just assuming this is gonna be the PS5. This isn't something that they've been saying, but I have to assume that this doesn't mean a PS5 is going to have complete backwards compatibility.
Okay.
This is just something like, I think it's always like like insurance, like it's something, if we, we'll have it, no one can copy it if we ever tend to do it. But what do you think is the possibility, or what are your thoughts on the fact that a system can be like completely backwards compatibility like that? Like just go back to the old games. Like, and this is with the knowledge that we have where people they're remaking games for current systems, Is this something obviously that could affect that, or just any thoughts you guys have on this?
The first thought was Xbox is there right now.
Yeah.
So where can Sony take it? Like that Xbox hasn't taken it.
Well, from my understanding, Xbox does software only, correct?
No, you can put in.
Oh, you could put in discs?
I believe so. Yeah, if you have your old Xbox.
It's right.
OG disc, like at E3 this past year, they said that.
I think there are certain discs that have issues.
Yeah, they said only like it's still a big library, but only specific titles.
Yeah, I remember
are allowed, and they had a list of what those are. But it was a large, it was the ones you would want to.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic. So. I was just trying to think of what would how do they make this a selling point rather than just like a good faith point? Because right now they're making money off like PS1 classics and PS2 classics and remakes, like you said, and revamps and like Resident Evil 2. They're making big money off of having that on their stores. So what would entice them as a company besides just being consumer friendly? And part of me was thinking okay, maybe they could go the route. Nintendo has this down pat where people have bought Super Mario 3 and World hundreds of times. So I'm maybe they offer it in terms of a service where there's leaderboards for these old games, or there's new ways in which you can appreciate those games. What if what if original RE2 or original Metal Gear has a photo mode in it?
Yeah.
That you could then go and enjoy and take cool photos. People photo mode is a small thing, but it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I had thought of was something that people could appreciate is preserving. This is a great way to preserve games that are hard to find now. If a game is super rare and costs $1 million to own to even experience it, this would be the opportune way to be we have it in our library. Mm-hmm. Granted, if there's no issues with copyrights and stuff,
right,
third party. Those are some of the thoughts I had.
That's a good one. When it came to refreshing it, because obviously just playing the same game, so having a leaderboard and having achievements possibly, something hey, you're playing the original RE2 or whatever, using a disc or using the original file or whatever. From downloading it, you just get an achievement from there, and then just beat this stage, and it just allows people to know that adding a time onto that trophy, hey, you beat it in 10 seconds, you beat it in a minute and 45 seconds or whatever, and so people can compete. There's a leaderboard that'd make it really refreshing, really fun. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Jang, what do you think?
I think money wise doesn't make sense for Sony to do that, because games. They're hard to find. If I wanted to, some of the games are easy to find, but not a lot of people. It doesn't hit the mass audience. If I were to do a backwards compatibility, the average Joe won't have the original PS1, PS2, They might have PS3. It's more common, but and plus they make money by selling it on the PS Store. So I don't think money wise, it's not worth it to do it. Because of technology behind it. And
from what I understand, the way the technology is, they made some proprietary way where they did it in the past PS3 and PS4 that limited them from preventing them from doing it. And now they're going to a PC-based system or something along those lines. I don't know the exact terminology, but that infrastructure allows them to just be like, it's like an emulator. It's like just carbon copy this over.
Well, I was reading it. It seems like it like downgrades itself. Like if it's like, you get like the best PC, and with those specs, you can't run older stuff because you're gonna overrun it. It was like saying something like that. So what it does is it'll downgrade itself to lower specs, even though it still has the same specs, and it runs this game at that lower spec, so it doesn't like overrun what it needs to run for these certain programs to play well.
So I have I'm trying to think of like what. Let's say it's available.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you see? What would it take to get you to want to play anything backwards compatible? Like, what would it have to be or have or? I don't know.
My biggest thing would be achievements. Like if I can allow people to see that the fact that I've played, this classic game. And again, and like it shows like, hey, you beat the whole thing.
Ninja Guy.
Not only that, yeah, and like not only that, he did a no hit run. Like,
okay.
There's an achievement for that. Like that's something
that would
like,
do it?
yeah. There's a lot of games where like I rather than get it on PC, I'll get it on PS4 because PS4 has the trophies. I can show people when I've done certain things, have done certain things. It hasn't pushed me to actually get all these platinums, but I really enjoy playing.
If you're between it on where to play it, you're gonna go.
Having the trophy or achievement side is the one I go for.
What are you, Jake? Nothing would do it.
I don't know, man. Because I just want games that I can't find. So I'd rather just have like a PS Store give me rare games, Bust a Groove, Part 2, give me like the rare Einhander. Fuck, give me the rare PS1 games that I don't have. Because I mean, what's the point of getting backwards compatibility if I don't even have those games?
Yeah, I feel like the thing is, how many people still keep all their old, like the percentage of people that still have their original PS1 or whatever PlayStation Classic games physically, and then are willing to be like, yeah, I'll bust it out, whatever storage container I have or something. So I think for me, a digital storefront, much like the Nintendo Online service has, makes the most sense. And I'm trying to think of the way I would pitch that is, I think PS5 comes out. They, have their pitch of like what the PS5 offers, backwards compatibility, works if you have physical or, you want to get digital in the storefront, whatever, it's there. It's available either way. Sorry, Mike smacked it for the audience. It's available either way. Now, I think they're going to then talk about updates to the PlayStation Online and the PlayStation Plus, the subscription service that they have. They're going to increase the price, in my opinion, but they would offer more with it.
I think it's $60 normally.
$60 a year.
And I only buy it at a discount.
Oh, really? Yeah, like there's like deals.
Off. It's $50 usually.
But it's an annual service that lets you play online. You get 2 games a month.
Yeah.
Usually. And they would, in the past, they would do it for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and Vita. I think they're going to go PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and a classic or two.
Well, they sent out an email. PS3 and Vita.
Yeah, they're not going to include PS3 games or PS Vita games anymore
because they're going to keep it away. They're going to bring it back.
Here's a one
Throwback
classic,
Thursday.
And the classic could be either PS1 game.
Yeah, it could be PSP. Any PS game that was before PS3. 4. Before 4. And I think they'll have hand-picked ones, like maybe highlighted ones, like rare ones or something. But then it'll entice you to be like, oh, well, if I'm getting this, maybe I'll get another classic game or, I don't know, Final Fantasy Tactics or whatever. I feel like that's how they're going to package it to start off. And then, like, they'll have a la carte.
That brings me to think, like, how does digital work? Like, with old games, like, these games were made before a digital world was even thought of. Like, they have
a program file somewhere.
Right, but is it as simple as just loading that up on
some? I don't think all. Like I know, like with what was it?
I mean,
original StarCraft.
I know the Resident Evil 2, the classic. That's because I have it on PS2 or not PS2. I have it on PS3. Yeah. Like we were able to buy that digitally, but like I don't. That goes into question. Like there's certain games where like the copyright issue is now a thing.
Yeah, because, of course.
It's past that
either
point.
the game itself, like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, or it's the music license, the licensed music.
So it can no longer be redistributed. But if you have the physical copy, you can still play the shit out of that if you want.
Yeah, I think that's where they leave it open. It's like our system can handle physical copies, but any first party or second party games are available digitally from this vast library that we have. So That could be there because the classic thing that they made, the little like Nintendo Classic, competitor, it's like half price now. Like that thing did not do well.
And I still don't want to buy it.
They were asking for $100
originally.
And then it went down to 50, I think is what it is.
And it'll probably go lower. So I'm just like, maybe
20. Make it 20.
And even then, I'm like, it's just gonna take a space. I don't even.
Or
know.
hack
I
it.
haven't even opened the N62 or the Nintendo
Super Nintendo
Classic.
one?
No, just the. Do I have that one too? I have
think
both.
so.
I have the Classic and the Super Nintendo.
Well, they're no
Haven't
longer
opened
making
either.
those, so
They're in stores everywhere.
yeah. But they're no.
Yeah,
It's gonna be rare. So.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's like cool. You're finally doing it. Much like how they're finally allowing for name changes. Like even though it's convoluted, I think they're finally getting with the times on some of these issues that have been lingering in preparation for something bigger. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Done? Okay. My topic. So I have been going down this rabbit hole for 2 games right now of learning about like all this backstory. Like recently in Destiny 2, there's a new gun that's been or not a new gun. It's an old gun come back in a new way, and it's the last word. It's a hand cannon that's very famous in the lore of Destiny. And the gun itself is really popular and fun to use, but what I constantly hear about on the subreddits, on conversations, on podcasts and stuff, is the gun's history is part of this one of the best stories within Destiny's lore. And I was like, I've never heard this story. And there's a YouTuber called My Name is Bife, and he goes into the minutia of like what is the actual lore and background of all this stuff within Destiny that never gets really like the spotlight that the games showcase. They're just like stuff's happening, very basic storyline. Bad guy comes, this stuff happens. You save the day. You're a guardian, superpowers and god stuff. But then there's all this like, where did this race come from? Who is this race? Who's the main? Why is this person the king of this race? And all this other stuff. So I've been like learning all about that. And then the other thing was I've had this weird curiosity about Kingdom Hearts lately. I've never played a single game of. Oh no, correction. I played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance. Because my brother had it, and I was like, that looks fun. I played it. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I guess this is a middle piece of something. But I've been watching people play it recently, and I've been listening to podcasts trying to explain it. And at first, I was like, man, this is so funny. There's just explaining it is a joke. I guess it's a comedy. But then I hear more and more people explaining it in more detail or with more passion, I should say, like with less humor and more like, no, there's a really genuine story, and there's all this stuff going on that is subtext and it got me thinking of just like games and their lore that's like not upfront. Everything that's going on in the background, the worlds they create, and like I wanted to know what your guys' experiences are, like some of your favorite lore in games or some of your experiences with like how it's presented. Even like it's not just like what it is, but how do you learn about it and stuff. So I don't know, just around the table.
Obviously, it's not a secret that I play World of Warcraft.
What?
And it has one of my most favorite, which was Wrath of the Lich King.
Okay.
So it had Alliance has a king, and his son. His son is Anduin, or is it Anduin? No, Arthas. I'm sorry, and he is doing things in a bad way to try to get back at the Horde. He's doing everything in his power to try to get back to this other side, this other enemy that has done bad to him and his whole alliance side. To the point that he becomes a bad guy to everyone. He takes in this power that turns him into the Lich King. He becomes like this all powerful monster who is imbuing powers to other people, like, hey, go do my bidding, here's powers. And he's creating, essentially, what happens is you fight the Frozen Throne, which is at the very end of this raid, it's him at his throne, you have to fight him. But along the way, you're fighting these creatures that he's given powers to, made very powerful to protect him and his, like, what he's trying to do. So this whole time, it's this guy who starts on the side of a faction that's always been like, this faction's never really done much wrong. Like there are characters that have done something bad to try to do something for the greater good, essentially. But this is one of the biggest ones where it became like a big thing for the game. It was the whole expansion is the fact that this guy is now becoming a bad guy.
So that's the main story of that.
For that one specific expansion,
Okay.
yeah, is he
But, like-
is trying to do everything he can to get revenge to the point that he becomes a monster.
Okay, but I'm like what I'm trying to get at is like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, where like do you get any point throughout the story get little bits of things that are going that like this is what that clan or the family or the history of that family have been like,
Right.
leading up to it or after it or like that interest like that caught your attention and you started learning more about.
Gotcha. I'll think about it if Jane wants to go next for a bit.
Mine is gonna be from Software, Bloodborne, and like if you play the game, the story is not apparent. You're just a dude that dies and wakes up in a dream, and you have to like kill these bosses. But the lore is like hidden in notes and in conversations, and it's so obscure. Like you have to like really like study it. I just watched.
So even if you read it, it's not apparent.
It's very implied. It's super implied. Like for example, there's this girl. The very first boss that you fight is Gascoigne, and he's like, I think he's okay. I might be butchering it. I think he's a priest, but he got infected, so he turns into this werewolf. He's a beast as well.
Okay.
But you meet an NPC, and it's a girl by a window. So after you kill Gascoigne, you get this like brooch. I think it's his wife's brooch. And this is like super implied. You don't know this, and like you had to like I don't know read a lot of stuff, listen to conversations. So you pick up the brooch and you go to that window. That's the daughter of the boss, and so when you talk to her, you doom her because you got two choices: to give her the brooch or withhold it. If you give it to her, she's gonna go look for her dad, and she gets killed by a monster. And her like there's like a white ribbon, I think, or a red ribbon, and that's hers. The thing is, if you withhold it, she's still gonna go out and kill her. But if you just don't do anything, she just stays in her house and
Doesn't die.
I guess she dies. I don't know what happens. She just stays in her house. So that lore, like you wouldn't know until it's so deeply hidden in like.
Do you enjoy
notes.
that it's like something like
I don't
you have
like
to
to
look
like. I just want to watch a YouTube video and explain it, and it like opens my eyes. Like, oh,
okay.
yeah. So, Bloodborne, the lore is hidden.
How do you like? You mentioned how yours is presented. Is there a way you enjoy? Because I know, like, I was trying to think of all the different ways this is presented. Like any sort of worldly knowledge of a game, where it's for all intents and purposes, it's like world building. It's like making whatever game you're in feel that much more alive. It's like things are going on regardless of your involvement, and like it's data logs, it's audio logs, it's notes, it's item descriptions. It's side quests that you come across where it's like, oh, this isn't necessary, but there's something going on here, and I'm getting involved, and I'm learning a little bit more about this in town or something. Do you have a preferred way in which this is delivered? This narratives?
I think audio is my preferred way. Like, if it's something that I'm doing and like it's audible. Going on in the background, like an audio log or something. Like, let's say, I think the Division,
like Bioshock, I think has that.
and
Oh, in Division,
too,
yeah.
So like, as you pick up a quest or something, it has like an audio tape that plays.
Yeah. Someone's
that's
talking
giving you like the history of why something is going on right now or whatever.
Yeah, for
like,
you,
as
for
pick
you,
something.
all it's like is like, pick this up, go find the local gang that did something. But that audio log, gives you.
Yeah, because if it's just text, I'm probably not going to read it. I'm just
Yeah.
going to skip over it.
Yeah.
A lot of it, I tend to not skip audio logs. Like, if I pick something up, I will let that play as I'm continuing what I need to do.
and you're paying attention.
And I'll pay
attention.
attention. Yeah. But like, if it's a text, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to pay attention to what I'm visually seeing.
Yeah.
And I'll just skip this out of audio text.
Interesting.
So yeah, I think for me, it's going to be an audio log that would be easier for me to start paying attention to the lore.
Okay.
I want things that have a big payoff. So I don't care if it's delivered to me on a note or audio. I want them to hint at it and then show me something and be like, oh shit, that is that.
But like with the Bloodborne thing, you wouldn't have picked up on it until you watched the YouTube.
That's true. But that one didn't really have a good payoff. Like there's this
okay.
there's another So in Bloodborne, there's this section that you enter, and when you open the door, this guy, he's a hunter as well. He's like, "You're not supposed to be here," and he just starts shooting a gun at you. And then later on in the game, there's like a note about him, and you're like, "Oh, I understand why he did that, why he was trying to shoot at me." So I don't know, payoffs.
So, is there any other big payoff like that you can think of that has done that for you?
I don't know. A lot of games, like lore-wise, I don't know. In my experience, it's very straightforward. There's not really a lot.
There's
lot
just
of
like a linear narrative. Like
BioShock, maybe it has a good twist to it. BioShock really got me good. I don't want to spoil it, but don't watch the girlfriend's review. Dude, that spoiled it. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Where something for me, for like a side that I just recall, is for The Last of Us. They have a really, I think they do such a great job with world building, but there's a small side story of the sewers where they go to hide, and as you're going through this whole entire area, there's notes on the ground dictating like, hey, there used to be a guy that lived here. He allowed a family to come in and live with him, like to be protected in this area. And then slowly, like, you find out like monsters came in, they attacked the kids. Like, you go to the area and you see 2 dead children and like an adult, and you're just like, oh fuck, it got them. And the guy who originally like was living here alone, I think is the only one who managed to get out.
Really?
Yeah. And so like the people that he allowed to safely be here ended up dying.
So you could have completely missed this.
Yeah, if you're not reading these notes that are on the ground. And it was so captivating me that when they announced DLC, like it was going to be like another storyline, I was like, it's going to be this one. It has to be this. Not even. No. And I'm so disappointed. Like, they have to. I felt like they had to bring that in. Like, they had to make a story with just this one because it was such a fantastic thing. Like, dude, that alone was like so intense compared to like how intense the game is. I was so captivated in like that one little area running through it, and it was such a good thing. Yeah. But it was a letdown because there was no continuation. Like, you get out of the sewers, and I scoured the whole thing outside thinking like, I will find a note. I will find a note where he's like, and there a note might exist like further out saying like, hey, I've gotten this far in life after leaving the sewers. I never really ended up finding it because that area is like filled with like human enemies. Yeah. And they're a lot tougher than like the zombies because the zombies are gonna kind of like sneak around. Yeah, these guys they see you and they start getting you. So it was a lot difficult to comb that area. But yeah.
I mean, Destiny's got a mix of a few of these. It's got like descriptions within, like, you pick up archive dated logs and it's not narrated, it's written. So you're just like, okay, well, do I want to sit here and read like a paragraph or two? And some people, that they love that because it's like time they can sit down and like really soak in some sort of narrative. Like, it's like, I mean, for video games, it's a fairly new thing. Like, it's still like working its kinks out because it's one of the newer mediums. But compared to like books, but like books have side notes and subtexts and full on, like, I think of the Silmarillion from J.R. Tolkien, where it's just like a whole book of just history of the world of the Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth and everything that, like, from the beginning of time till now, where this originated from and how this group took over this section and all this stuff. I'm like, when you watch Lord of the Rings, there's just the elves are here, the Rohan is here, Condor is here, and I'm like, I want to know more about them, and it kind of entices you to dig into this stuff. And with a book, you're enjoying the reading and everything. With a video game, I like something involved, but like, I feel like Bloodborne has it well, where there's a little bit of reading, and you have to, if you want, you have to want to find it. Yeah. To like how you said as well with Last of Us, in order to get any sort of payoff. So you're not going to just stumble upon it and not appreciate it. You're just you have to actively look for it, and it's there for you. And you're like, they spent time making this whole thing that who knows how many people are going to experience and then learn of a story or something. And with Destiny, so going back to what I was saying, some of it's text, but then other times there's character. Like, I'll be in the middle of a match of Gambit, and the narrator's like, "Oh, I once met Saint 14. Some say he's dead, but I don't buy it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, who's Saint 14? And like, I start looking at, like, he's mentioned him a few times, and I'm like, and a few other characters have mentioned him, and there's a helmet in the game that's powerful, and it's his helmet, Saint 14's helmet. And I'm like, who the fuck is Saint 14? Like, he's got to be someone. So I start reading up on him, and then I go through the text and the wikis and the YouTubes, and I learn he's played a vital role in the foundation of this city. And I'm like, man, Saint 14's a fucking badass, and he's done some cool shit. Like, I didn't know. And like that hook, like that payoff, I think is really cool, and it kind of gets you invested. It's cool what lore does. Like, I think Game of Thrones is a big one where it's like, yeah, you get the main stories, but it's gotten to the point now where the demand for these stories that are in lore, that are in the backdrop of like how the Targaryens first came, and now they're doing not like a prequel, but a spin-off, like actual HBO, where they want to go into that history. Yeah. Or Star Wars was like at a time where they're like, let's go back to when the Clone Wars were. We briefly mentioned them, and it spawned, an actual focus on that, and that became the main thing. So I don't know. It's interesting to me.
I want to.
Go for it.
I want to add StarCraft. Reading the booklet.
Just the booklet itself.
Yeah,
I remember reading the books.
Oh,
those are fun. Like Halo was the same thing, where there were novels in the sci-fi section, and there was so much. Like the booklet was so good. Like, you're right.
Terrans, Protoss.
Now I recalled another small thing that I like, and it's also in Destiny. Like I don't know if you'd consider this part of like the main story, but there is a dungeon run that you do, where the hive is attacking, and you have to continue going down the path, you have to start destroying these crystals. And as you play the game, like as soon as you enter where you're going to start finding the first crystal, you hear audio logs saying like, no, please, don't. You already killed my ghost.
Yeah.
They're turning these people into these power crystals. Like they're turning humans or guardians essentially using their power to turn into power crystals. And at the very end of the mission, there's like, you need a power crystal to kill this boss. There's no more power crystals. And it's this girl that you've never met. You just heard her starting in this mission. And at some point she goes like, no, you what guys? Keep going. I've got an idea. And she literally turns herself into a power crystal so that you have the power to kill this last boss. And so it's so good. And the only reason I'm able to like pay attention to this is because it's all audio logs.
Yeah, it's
like as you're running through
you
hear this audio going through in the background because you're radioing with these people. And that's the only reason. If it was text log, probably would have never.
But the thing is, it's great because it has nothing like your overarching story of like what the Guardians are doing with the grand scheme of things. That has no significance to that. But it's like this personal story of like how the hive operate and this small group of people that have been victims of that, and then you're stumbling in upon this and like the horrors, and it's crazy. I don't know, like here's another question. Has there ever been a time where you felt it wasn't needed, where there was a lot of lore, or there was some lore and you're like, or there was some world building backstory of something, you're like, why the fuck is this even here?
I mean, at this point, the only thing I could think of would have to be Kingdom Hearts, dude. Like,
really?
Because I played 1 and 2. Like when I played 1, I was like,
piss off a lot of people.
This is where
it's a fighting game. It's okay.
Well, the thing is, like, even back then, I've always been like, I want to play on console. Like, if you start dabbing like a story into like a mobile game, I'm probably not going to go into that route. Okay. So when the original Kingdom Hearts came out, I played that on PS2. And then, that was a long time. And then Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. I played that as well. And then nothing. But I knew these games were coming out on mobile. I just thought there were like things to hold people over. It turns out like most of the story is all in the mobile. Like it has nothing.
Well, there was like a PC game. There was a DS, not a DS, Game Boy game.
Yeah, there's a Game Boy game, a 3DS game.
There was a mobile game.
There's Dream Distance Drop. I don't even like. There's all these things.
It's everywhere. And
I never followed the mobile games. And then I watched a 30-minute YouTube video. Yeah. And it's like, here's half of the story. I'm like, you haven't even gotten to the first game I played yet. I don't understand what's going on, dude. And then they're like, and then here's that, like the section that I played, the 2 games is like this much out of this whole entire lore. I'm like, why would you do this to me?
I wouldn't say that's not that's unnecessary lore. I feel like that's convoluted.
Yeah.
Like the presentation of it,
but
was
at this point, it's unnecessary for me because I'm not gonna.
But I'm thinking of okay, here's I mean, this is an opinion. I know some people enjoy it, but it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It's Street Fighter. There's some of the stories that I care about, but I don't know why E Honda is fighting, and I don't think I care why he's fighting.
All right.
But I know why Ken is fighting. I know why Ryu is fighting.
But the thing is, what happens if you finally do end up finding out why E Honda's fighting, and you're like, "Whoa, that's such a good story."
I'm saying, as of right now, that hasn't happened.
Gotcha.
And I know that there's stuff of that, and it doesn't add anything to the world to me.
I think Blanca's story is cool.
His is. There's some that I enjoy,
Yeah.
but it's hit or miss with those characters.
Hit or miss.
I guess.
But I think a game that does it maybe in a more narrative way is Mortal Kombat, where it's it's a tournament.
It's a lot better.
Where there's the fate of realms is on the balance.
Tekken has a lot better story.
Really?
Tekken has a really cool story.
Okay. I know a little bit about the Soul Calibur story of Nightmare and how he came through. Not all of it, but I know some characters. But again,
I'm trying to think of one where I know the story, but I don't think it's good enough to even care about it. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Do you care about Smash story?
Well, yeah, I guess that's a good one. There is no reason to it doesn't change your opinion on this game because
all you care about is just hey, you want to play Smash?
I'm gonna piss off some people. Metal Gear Solid. There's some things that need to be cut. Cut the fat, dude. Cut the fat, dude. Some of it is just unnecessary. I'm just oh my god.
I feel you played it very well. You've platinum one of the games 3 times. Technically, I mean, before there was a platinum for
There's a lot of
Can we
unnecessary.
talk about the lore of Mario Kart? And why there isn't more of it? No, I'm kidding.
Games like that though they're weird to me because it doesn't need lore. I know you're joking, but it doesn't need lore because the lore is within each character. But the idea of why they're racing,
I don't need it for Mario Kart. Is what I'm saying. It doesn't need to be there.
Right.
I don't. I know Super Mario Brothers. There's a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Mario saves the princess or Bowser this.
Right.
I don't need to know some of the subtext of this is how Bowser's Kingdom operates, and this is why Peach is running shit into the ground. It'd be interesting if it was made well, and there's always an opportunity to do that. But thus far, that has never been a motivator to why I'm playing, or it doesn't enrich or add value to the games thus far.
The biggest thing is he has a secret exit, and he's always stealing the princess and exiting back out again, and you have to go to the next castle.
And then he's just shit, and then he's out. But Zelda, on the other hand, I think there's a lot of great side stories of the Garuda or of the
timeline.
Yeah, the time stuff. But just learning about subsects and the other great groups of people.
And not even just that, because they add people that teach you because there's certain which I think is so good for it too. I don't know there's a guy who's a chef and he's yeah, I make my recipes like this, and he literally shows you a recipe, and he there's some lore to him, he'll tell you why he's doing this, but each one of those is a method to teach you a recipe. The only thing that sucks is you can't save these recipes, so you have to memorize them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying understanding that the Zora people have their existence in their kingdom, and there's a whole thing going on there that you could completely miss out on, but the more you talk to each individual person, they give you a little bit more of a color to that area. So I don't know, it's interesting stuff. So that's my topic, and let's finish things out with what have you guys been up to this week? We're gonna start things off with Jang this time. Switching it up.
We'll start with a little bit of War Groove.
Oh.
But I scratched. I'm very because another game came out. Apex Nipples, aka
Let's go.
Apex Legends.
We got a champion right here.
The Fortnite killer, supposedly.
Is it? I mean, 10 million players in that short of a time.
In one day.
No, it was 5 or 2. Still a lot, but 10 million. But now,
but over 2 million concurrent. I think it said something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's number one. It beat Fortnite as most watched game.
Ninja's retired. Have you guys not seen him?
Oh shit!
He's sponsored. play
He's
Apex.
out. He's not on Twitch anymore.
Oh well, no, he's sick and.
Is he? How convenient. He's sick when this game comes
Apex
out.
is coming.
Well, I know for sure he's sponsored by Apex. He's already done a good
Really?
sponsored post. Yeah.
Wow.
So-
My initial impression of Apex, I like the classes. Me personal preference, I don't like squad-based games. I rather play lone wolf. Like,
Why can you just not play as a lone wolf in a squad, or
you're gonna
just
get
outrun?
I mean, I'm not that good. So, I mean, it's possible if I was Shroud.
I could totally see them making it down the line. Like they said that there's a lot of content to come.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. If they have game modes and there's like just solo, I think it'd be fantastic. But yeah, as right now it's just squads.
I don't like the player count. I feel like
What's the player count?
60, I think.
Okay.
Oh, on the map.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got increased that shit.
Yeah, I feel like
Really?
there are many moments where you don't have a lot of action. You're just
Okay.
But the mobility there.
I'm worried that it's too many and it's just like chaos. There's like too much melee going on all of a sudden, and it's
I got meleeed last night. Two guys. I was like, help me! Couldn't find a gun. There's one aspect I like, and I think they need to bring this into Fortnite. If you kill someone, you can recover their flag, their banner, and you can respawn them. That is a fucking game changer.
Wait, respawn the person
So if you
killed?
if you die in the game,
Okay.
I can respawn you.
Oh, a teammate can do
Yeah,
that.
a teammate
okay,
can respawn you.
You said if you killed.
Oh
the-
no!
I missed. Okay.
No. So
if your
you pick
teammate
up.
dies-
You had to pick up his flag.
Okay.
And you had to go to a respawn point.
Oh,
and you
there's
put it
set
in,
points.
and it takes a long time. So I guess it's risky, but then there's no action, so it's like it's not that risky. Like also like supply drops are really risky in Fortnite. Like if you're going for a supply drop, another team is 80% going to be there. In this game, supply drop uncontested all the time, and I'm just like, you got to kind of change that. You got to, it's random, but drop it where it's like between two groups or something. So you will see action for that supply.
Yeah.
But that's the only way to get legendary weapons, and that's the only way I think to win that game is to get those legendary weapons. Because the supply drop will always drop a legendary.
Okay.
Always, no matter what. But
I think it's interesting that they've taken that, but they've also added class abilities. Like the idea of like, okay, I'm playing as this character where I have this set of basic abilities and an ultimate ability, which just reminds me of Overwatch in some ways.
there's some really, like the robot that I'm using. Pathfinder, he can, there are these like things, antennas, he can hack them and it tells you where the next circle is. So it's very like team based. Like there's another guy who could see footsteps. That's his
like beast
passive.
mode?
That's his passive ability. He can see footsteps, so he can call out, "Oh, there's traps right there. I could see footsteps," and he can turn on like a UAV kind of thing, like a blast
scanner?
area. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, has potential. I think I'm retired from the game. Someone try to add me, and I was like,
You're like, I'm out.
I got my victory. I'm done.
I'm one for
One no.
Champ.
100% win ratio.
Anything else?
I finished Chuck Palahniuk's Invisible Monsters.
How was it?
It's fucking good.
Yeah.
It's fucking good. Like
What's it about?
it's about
cover
a
trips me out, by the
model
way.
that gets into a car accident and she loses her jaw. So like her tongue is exposed and she just so she's trying to cope with trying to figure out who did this to her, and she's just trying to cope with life, and she gets into this crazy, like, you know how Fight Club has that twist? This book has that twist times 2. There's like a whoa, like I didn't expect that, like whoa, okay. And then I was trying to guess another way for the second twist, and fucking, and they've been trying to make a movie out of this. Jessica Biel was supposed to star as the main girl, but I think they have a problem with doing the special effects for a jaw missing. But
So she in the book, like, she doesn't get like surgery or anything like that.
they try to. Oh, so you know how Chuck is, like his writing style is very grotesque. So he was saying like there's this process. He's going into detail about like, so she's missing a lot of skin. So what they do is they take your bone and try to like make skin grow, and once it grows long enough, they like wrap it up.
So she's letting like a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. So she's letting these like the skin grafts grow, but I don't know like how true it is. It was like, well, that's pretty descriptive.
Dang. Yeah, his writing.
But
what's the other book then?
oh, so I brought Pet Sematary because the trailer came out.
Right. And then you brought that because you finished
so
it.
this I'm trying to finish.
So you're making your way through it.
Yeah, I haven't started it.
Oh.
But I'm going to try to finish it within 2 weeks.
Black Leopard, Red Wolf.
So
I've been hearing a lot about it.
Yep.
It's already been like got the rights for a movie.
I didn't know that.
Michael B. Jordan's production company is working with Warner Brothers.
He should play the main character.
You think?
I
I don't know enough about it. I see Neil Gaiman talking about it on the back. And
yeah.
I've been hearing a lot.
Pet Sematary came out.
The trailer.
They changed. Did you guys watch it?
I watched the show.
They changed it. They changed it on us. But
not surprised.
There's a thing called felching. Can I tell you what it is?
Go for it.
It's probably worse than pearl diving.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Okay, all right. Look it up. Urban Dictionary felching. FELCH. Okay. It's
At
worse.
your own risk.
It's
I
worse.
feel like there's like it's belching,
I don't wanna
farting
know.
wise.
I
I
don't
don't,
wanna
know.
It's the reverse of belching, but it's even gross.
I'm good. I'm good.
And that's it.
I'm not surprised either that he came up with another thing. Marcus, what have you been up to?
Not much. I've had an ear infection since Monday, and it's horrible. It's a lot of pain. Most pain I've felt in a long time. I keep playing World of Warcraft. I haven't stopped. I can't stop for some reason.
They got you. We got him,
That
boys.
guy working customer service is like, got him.
Retention 100%.
Hook, line, sinker.
And then I'm not gonna stick to like 100% diet type of thing.
Shit.
But I'm gonna cut down on sugar specifically.
Nice.
I'm gonna try to start making my own dishes.
Okay.
Obviously,
Spaghetti.
no sugar. Yeah, start with spaghetti. Go out with a bang. Obviously, cut down on like Coke, drinks, and stuff like that.
Am I going to have to be eating wings by myself?
No. Like again, like
Just
I'm
let
not,
me know. I can take it.
No. I want to actively cut down on it, but it's not like I'm not stopping myself from like, let's go enjoy
Something.
Yeah, like sugar infused spaghetti or something like that. I'm fine with that.
Mukbang it, dude.
Okay, cool.
So that's like the one
Power
thing,
to you,
and
dude.
hopefully that leads into other avenues for me. We'll see.
Cool.
But for right now, yeah, just cutting down on sugar.
Okay. Anything else?
I still haven't bought in Wargroove.
It's fine.
But I plan on to. I heard rumors that supposedly before they made Devil May Cry 5, they were planning on making what was the name of it? Shoot. Dragon Dogmas 2.
Ooh.
And possibly there could be a possibility that now that they're done making 5 that they're going to go on to make Dragon Dogmas 2. So I'm excited for that. And I will pick that up when it comes out for the Switch.
I heard rumors that Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 3 are being made right now. I don't know if it's true or not.
When is 4 coming out on Switch? That's all we need.
Yeah. Is it? Wait, it is coming out,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Fuck,
man. I got to...
buy
it again?
I can't believe, like, if you know how they've been remaking these Resident Evils? I wonder what they'll do to Resident Evil 4 if and when they do it to the Resident Evil 4. Like, revamp
Mario
it.
costumes. While Luigi sound of...
Warrior.
Yeah. So,
That's all I have.
I've been playing Destiny a lot. I've been playing Pokemon a lot.
I see you on Gambit and Crucible.
That's all. Gambit and Crucible. I gotta fucking finish this season with those two ranked up. I have one more rank on Crucible, and they're doing a Valentine's Day
Double rank thing.
where it's the whole week double rank.
Oh,
and I'm like,
shit.
this is my time
To shine.
Like Katie,
And
I know
Katie's-
it's Valentine's Day. I got a date with Destiny. I got date.
you a copy of Destiny. I already leveled up your character. because I'm crazy. And Gambit because I have one more. I'm on my 3rd rank up, and I'm like, it's just fucking. Gosh. I got my Warlock up. I have not done any of the story with him.
Have you gotten the Maleficent?
Yeah, I got that a while ago.
Okay.
Would you get mad if Destiny made a battle royale after seeing?
I'd be fine with it. Like, if it meant that I'm not getting other things in Destiny, that might hurt. But I've been wondering what a Destiny battle royale would even look like.
If they did one free to play, I'd play. I'll try it.
They should fucking make this game free to play because like all these like the base game, because if they're charging as much as they are for the annual pass, for the expansions and all this other shit, I feel like just having the base game gets you Crucible, which is PvP, which a lot of people, that's all they want. Yeah. But they would entice them to maybe get the DLC and all this other stuff.
But rewinding it, to be honest, the landscape for Battle Royale, I thought there would be way more by this time. It's crazy. It's not. There's not that many. Well, I think a lot failed.
Development.
A lot has failed. But
I think Battlefield got delayed, so that one is yet to happen. I think, maybe a Bungie made one could be different. There was some smaller ones. There's that Realm Royale and a few others, but like. I feel like some people are intimidated. They're like that the investment to get in to make a game from scratch or from whatever,
make it free to play,
and then making it free to play and then having it crap out. Like that's a big like risk.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know, but it is interesting the variations we're getting. Like I'm surprised, but Destiny, I've always been curious. Like what would their version of something like that?
Yeah, like if it feels the way Destiny feels as a shooter, but like in a battle royale form, I'd be down to play it.
Welcome back.
I'll help you level up.
Guardian, welcome back.
He's got some great backstory. Shax, like that motherfucker is a boss. Anyway, so playing Destiny, I'm really going hard on Pokemon. The spreadsheets are back up.
The glasses are down.
Clefairy,
the calculators are out.
I think. Unannounced shiny Clefairies?
No, I saw that, but Palkias. I played Diamond and Pearl the most on the cartridge, and I want to max out 6 Palkias. And I need 1,400 candy. And that means I have to either get rare candies from doing raids.
Or get 1,400 Palkias.
Or if I catch a Palkia, they give me 3 candy.
So you just divide it by 3 then. You have to catch.
But if I transfer them, I get another 1.
I have some pretty good.
But the rare candies are where I get a lot of it.
I have some pretty good Palkias in my old Pokemon. Like soft reset the IVs for hours, dude.
Yeah, can you trade them to me? Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of them. And I've got a spreadsheet of like, at the rate you're going, this is how much you have. This is your progress you've made. You've got 2 Palkias ready to max out. This is how many more candies and Stardust you need. And this is your rate of candy per day. God damn. So based on this, at this rate, you're going to get the Palkias ready in 15 days or something. So,
and that
making that spreadsheet was fun.
How much time is that until like the ending of like the actual event for you to get?
So it's not an event. It's just Palkias around for a month as a raid boss, and he's around till the beginning of March.
And you're gonna finish it before March?
At the rate I'm going, I should be good. Like a week before.
I think you should make a bet.
No.
Just a lot some time for error. Like
I know because the Destiny thing. I'm trying to do some stuff for it, and I'm like, I got to do a round of Destiny, otherwise I'm not gonna get any time.
Use your feet for the Pokemon.
Outside of that, we got feedback. I don't know if you guys saw the text from Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
So we're not.
It's because you didn't include the Neil Gaiman interview.
I think press is open for E3.
We go again.
I'm gonna try it.
You should try your thing too. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't hit the requirements.
You need a camera crew. You know where to find us.
I'm gonna open sound guy and camera.
You
gotta make two openings.
Your media manager.
Yeah. I'll
book all his appointments.
I'll be around not being able to hear.
You're the audio guy.
Max up the volume. I can't hear anything. So there's that. Watching Star Trek. Season 2's been great. Each episode, just like these ideas that they present, even if they're small, minuscule ideas, the idea of like what is, like Data's trying to understand what is funny.
Oh, yeah.
And like he's listening to a stand-up explain it. And he's just like, I don't get it. And like he says something himself. He says something to like Whoopi Goldberg or someone, and they laugh. He's like, what was that funny? Like that, like I don't understand where the humor came. And
you should edit it so it shows Louis C.K. Data's like,
how was that funny?
Did you see the scene that I had talked to you
No,
about?
that hasn't happened.
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But there was an episode which I think you would appreciate, Vargas, where it was this dying scientist, and he's like Data's grandfather. He taught the person that created Data and the androids, and he's like, he's got a critical illness, and he's about to die. He's like, don't worry, I'm not going out. And he's a misogynistic asshole and everything. Yeah. He's like cocky and everything. He's like, don't worry, I've figured out a way to put myself into a computer. And then he looks at Data. He's like, wait. And then the whole episode was he's transferred his consciousness into Data. He outed Data. Data's like his mind is still in there, but he's losing and he's like not in control. And this guy is controlling Data's body because he's somehow managed to not just transfer his like data of his body, but his consciousness. Yeah. And the idea of like what that means and what, you know, why or why not that is a good idea. I was like, oh, it's very much like what we've talked about in the past of like continuing existence beyond your physical form and stuff. So it's an interesting idea.
When I think of Data, I think of him in Independence Day. Release
Every
me.
time we're talking, like Katie and I will talk about the actor, and I'll just turn to her and be like, release.
Permission to shoot your glass, sir.
She's just like, what is that from? It sounds like it's from fucking Independence Day.
Release me.
Release. Yeah, I love this guy. So yeah, watch that. I think that's it. Oh, Kingdom Hearts. I've just been like reading up on it and everything. I actually was like, when we were talking about Smash, I'm like, what if they added Sora as a character to Smash?
And
like,
they have to bring all the backstory.
They got to bring Kingdom Hearts 3.
Imagine a Kingdom Hearts amiibo, a Sora amiibo. I don't know. It just blew my mind. I was like, whoa. That would get a lot of fans going. Like, if Joker was a big hype moment, imagine if Sora fucking was. Keyblade fucking everyone up.
You've seen the rumors, right? The two more?
Doom guy, Dragon Quest.
Yes.
And Minecraft?
Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm down for that one. Hey,
Frogger, buddy. No, Doom guy would be crazy.
Doom guy would be nuts.
I don't think... I'm like, what would his moves even be? Just fucking break a guy's leg, bash Mario with.
He like throws his little doll.
So
BFG is his ultimate smash.
Markiplier was on Larry King, the internet show. His most hyped game, Doom Eternal. He was like, I can't wait. I'm most hyped for Doom Eternal.
Wow.
Yeah, I got to give Apex Legends a try. I was bummed that there's no Titans in it. Like, no.
Well, the thing is, like,
I know it doesn't fit that gameplay, but I really want all mechs. Yeah. And that's just Mech Assault at that point.
That would be nuts.
Like the way, because they have a lot of different style of mechs.
Although, like Respawn made this game, it's not a Titan universe game.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
It's in the Titan. Yeah, there's like aliens and stuff that are in Titanfall.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
dude, that creeped me out. Cthulhu.
Yeah,
it's like Cthulhu.
Yeah. So it's in the world of Titanfall, but it's its own thing. There are people that don't have Titans, and these are like some of those people, and this is its own thing. But they were like, "There's no Titans in this. It doesn't work in this. You know what we have." I'm like, "Oh, bummer," but yeah, it's cool.
So no possibility of like a game mode where all Titans all the time.
I mean, one day maybe.
That would be cool.
I don't think right now. And then I also want to try War Groove, and I got a beta for Division 2. I gotta see if I do it. We talked about game stores on the PC. I had to go through and remember all my passwords pin all 8 of 6 or whatever. I'm like, just fucking put it on BattleNet. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. So
that's funny.
Thank you all for joining us, guys. Where can people find you?
At The Last Bosses everywhere.
They can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram, and then at the Fulio everywhere else.
God, it's so complicated. You can find me at Kuja Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC, on our Facebook page, on our social media, on our SoundCloud, iTunes. Leave us a review if you enjoy these, or even if you don't. Any review is a good review, in our opinion. In our eyes.
Just write neutral and send it to us.
Yeah. And yeah, stay tuned. This is episode 105. So next week, 106 is going to be a good one. You guys have a preview maybe of what it could be? Give them some little clip bite on.
It's gonna be
put you on the spot.
Apex Legends, Resident Evil 4,
Apex Legends Pro,
Resident Evil 4,
and then beating Wargroove.
Cool. And yeah, we'll see what. I don't know. I was just throwing questions out left and right. Until next time, Will.
DLC.
You later.